Hey, what's up, people? I thought today we'd take a look at this Monster Basics RGB plus IC sound reactive 3D mirror light. And this is sort of like one of these infinity mirrors that has all these LEDs that are like around the perimeter, like the inside, and they can all like change colors. It took me a sec to realize what they were trying to say with this RGB plus IC. Basically, it's they're trying to say that these are like individually addressable LEDs. Thought we'd take a look at this while I get around to finishing up some other videos that I've been working on. And until I get right, well, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, I need you to like focus over here. Like we're gonna take a look at this today. That stuff. Oh, it'll be later. I promise. But for today, we'll take a look at this. As we can see on the box here, this comes with an infrared remote control. It reacts to music. It says this RGB plus IC flow. Basically, it just means that it can do a bunch of different colors at once. As it says right there, multiple colors at once. It has magnet mounting, and it says it's rechargeable. Now, let's go ahead and take this out of the package. Or, is there anything interesting in the back? No, not really. More of the same stuff. But, yeah, let's take this out of here. So, as we can see, we've got the actual little mirror thing here. And there's a remote, and it comes with a little USB cable. Now, as it says, it's rechargeable. Well, I plugged in a micro USB cable and attempted to charge this, and actually left it on like overnight, charging the entirety of the front. Just turns red, as well as a small LED inside of that hole right there. But apparently it just never charged because I can't turn it on by pushing the button. I can't even turn it on with the remote. Now, through the magic of having two of these that I had stored away for a very long time, I have another one. So I pulled this one out of the package, and I plugged this one into charge, and it also didn't charge. So I was going to attempt to demo these, running on battery, but neither of them charge and they don't turn on. So we have to plug in a micro USB cable, and we'll see that it should turn on and turn red. Unless that's not working either. Let me see. Hit the on button. There it goes. So when it first turns on, it's just red, and it doesn't react to sound or anything like that. You have to push this little sound button there, and then when you do that, now you can see that whenever I make noise or whatever, or just talk, then the LEDs will change colors. And it's got a bunch of other colors that you can select here. I think this M here selects a mode. Yeah, so now it's just sort of like swirling, but now it's not reacting to music. This is just for like set patterns that it'll do. So we see right there, it's kind of cycling through different colors. And I don't know if you can notice this, but the colors seem kind of limited. Let me show you kind of what I mean here. So if I push this sort of like pink button to set a solid color, it's pretty much just red. If I hit this little purple button here, it looks no different. If I hit the red button, it looks no different. If I hit the green button, now we have some green. The blue button, this dark blue, it looks purplish, or kind of like magenta. Orange button, it just kind of orangish, more reddish than anything. Light green, kind of light green. Light blue, or lighter blue. It's more of a teal. White, it looks orange. Yellow, it looks more reddish. And light blue, it looks more of like a light green. So it doesn't appear that it's lighting up these LEDs very well. Maybe it's just not getting enough voltage or something. And I don't know if that has anything to do with the battery apparently not charging. It's got this other S plus button and S minus. I'm not sure what that does. Let's see if we hit the music button here. Oh, I guess, that must be speed. Speed? I guess this must be like the speed of the effects that it's doing, how fast it like cycles through the colors and stuff. Let's see if I turn this down. Yeah, it's going slower. Okay, so the S appears to be affecting the speed at which it cycles. And then we've got a brightness up and down. I think it's at full brightness here. I can turn the brightness down. Now, ironically, when you turn the brightness down, you can actually get the LEDs to appear more white right there. So yeah, it's kind of funky, but and I haven't taken off this protective layer here. We'll kind of leave it alone for now, just so it protects it while it's here on the bench. And I mean, the effect itself is kind of cool. That you know you kind of like look in there and it looks like you're staring off into the abyss, and pretty soon you're probably going to feel the abyss staring right back at you. And on the back, it's got this little piece of steel here that's magnetically attached to the back of the unit that has a piece of double-sided foam right there. So you would just mount this kind of like wherever you want it, and then you can like stick this to it, and it'll stick to like a wall or whatever. A little manual here, operation manual, and I'm pretty sure it's just going to tell us all the same stuff that we already saw on the remote. Yeah, all the just the basic stuff that we already saw. So we can see we've got two magnets right there on the back. It's also got a little kickstand, so you can just set it down like that, and it'll just kind of like, you know, stay wherever you put it. If you want something to be just flashing to sounds or whatever. There are no screws on the back side of this thing. So it looks like the only way to get inside is going to be to pry this mirror off, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's it's like plexiglass or Lexan or something, so no risk of breaking that, although I don't know how much we're actually going to damage it trying to pry it out. So let me get some tools that I can like stick in through the edge here, and we'll try to pry it off. But let's get it from up above right there. It's much easier for me to do it that way without blocking the view. So let's see what we can use. How about a somewhat of a dull blade? Can we stick that in the edge? Oh, that went right in. Carefully trying to pry up like that, and yeah, that's bringing it up. I'm gonna see if I have a little plastic tool that I can run around the edge to continuously keep prying on it. Actually, I've got some plastic blades. I'm gonna use that instead. All right, got a plastic blade here. I'm gonna try to lift this up a little bit, or at least just provide some room. Now I can run this along the edge, and it's quite readily separating there, so that's good. Try to grab it from here and lift while I continue to go around. Just this side left. And there we go. Oh, there is another piece of reflective material in there. So that's how it's kind of doing like that whole like infinity effect. It's all distorted like one of those funhouse mirrors. So the back of this is reflective as well, and you can see right there. So we'll set that aside, and that means now that I'm going to have to somehow try to remove that film from in there. Oh man, that looks funky. Alright, looks like the only way I'm going to be able to get that out is if I peel off the entire strip of LEDs. And the end is right in this corner right here. So I am going to... see, I'll take this plastic blade. This is like really well stuck on there. Yep, it is coming off though. And the last of it right there. Okay. So with that, we can see there's some little tabs that are holding that mirror piece in there. Maybe I can try to pry it up with a piece of, or with one of these pry tools. There we go. That's gone. Yeah. Cool. There we go. Well, this is kind of neat. It's like a one-way mirror. Okay, we'll set that aside and take a look at what else is in here. So it's got this other piece of film behind the mirror there, probably to block out, you know, whatever is in here. Oh, and there's the battery. an 18650 piece of foam on top. You can disconnect that. And this LED strip is also on a connector. Let's go ahead and pull that off. So yeah, there it is. It's in a addressable strip of LEDs, and we've got a total of 24 there. There was like 4 LEDs per side. So I'm wondering if this battery is just too dead to charge, and maybe it needs to be like manually done for it for like the little BMS in here to get it going again. But it's an 800 milliamp hour battery, and so it is kind of small. This could definitely be upgraded. See that there's 2 screws holding this board down. So I'll remove those 2 screws. Oh, and I just realized this plastic piece that's in here, it has that little cutout for the infrared detector right there, so that the light from the remote can shine through both pieces of plastic and it'll still hit that sensor. So this doesn't have like Bluetooth built in or anything. It's very basic. So there's the microphone. And we see we've got a couple of ICs right there. I don't know if they're numbered. No, it looks like this one at least is not numbered. That's probably going to be like the microcontroller. That right there, I'm going to guess, is probably a charge controller for the battery. There's the button for power and for selecting the modes. So really not a whole lot of stuff in here. Let's get the microphone and we can take a better look at what's all on this board. And yeah, there we go. So microphone right there. We flip it over to this side. We can see how one side is connected to ground. And then the positive side, there's a little via right there that goes off into this area. And I'm pretty sure that these 2 transistors right here are basically like a small little amplifier. We see we've got this trace going up to here. It goes up to the base of this transistor. And that jumps over to the base of the other transistor. That goes off down this way into one of the pins of that, what I'm pretty sure is the microcontroller. Looks like we've got a bunch of capacitors right here in parallel. I'm guessing that's just to save room instead of using like one big one for some reason. Got a diode right there. You can see how we're only using the grounds and then the positive of the USB connector. And this right here says D2, but instead of a diode, it's actually got a resistor. So I'm guessing maybe there would have been a diode there, but they decided they didn't need it. So that goes off into powering the rest of the circuitry. This chip right here is marked 5056. I don't know if we're going to be able to find any information on that. Well, that was kind of easy. It appears to be an AP5056, and that's a 1 amp linear lithium ion battery charger. And basically this has everything built in for charging a battery, and it looks like they're just expecting the battery to be connected positive to this this pin 5 right here, which says BAT. So yeah, the negative of the battery goes to ground, but the negative also goes through this NTC down to sense the temperature. And this resistor right here looks like it says the programming current, I'm guessing. Oh yeah, programmable charge current up to 1 milliamp or 1000 milliamps. So it also controls the LEDs. And yeah, it's all just pretty basic charger IC. And there's inside a block diagram of it. And then other stuff on the board here, we see we've got another, it says like Q3 right there. That's probably going to be for controlling the power to the string of LEDs. So I'm guessing that's probably going to be like a MOSFET, like a P-channel MOSFET, because it looks like it's going to, yeah, would probably be the positive of that connector there. That middle pin appears to be the control line, so that goes straight into the microcontroller underneath there most likely. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And actually, I just realized that on the on the diagram for the battery charger IC, it's got 3 lines going to the IC, but here we actually only have 2 wires going to the battery. So let's cut this open, see what's actually in there. See the battery there, it's looking kind of purple. And yep, there's a tiny little board there. Is there oh yeah, there's some components on there. So it does have a little protection board right there. Let's see what the battery voltage is measuring. All right, we got the battery up there in the corner, or the voltage measurement on the corner. Let's see, negative here, positive here. Oh, 1.02. So maybe if I use a power supply to like just kind of manually give this battery a bit of a kick start here, or a jump start, maybe this board will actually charge it. So I will, let me think here. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I stuck 2 wires into the connector going into that little protection board there. And I'm using these 2 sets of leads right here. They're going to the multimeter so we can see the voltage on the upper right corner there. So I'm going to hook these up like this. And then I'm going to have this clip here coming from the power supply, which I'm going to set to 3.6 volts. And I'm going to limit the current to 100 milliamps to start. And so it's in constant to current mode. So if it can't hit 3.6 volts, it's just going to limit the current until it's able to get the voltage to rise. So, all right, I got the power supply all set up, and let's see what happens. So, okay, voltage is rising. It's holding steady at 0.1 or 100 milliamps. So it appears that the battery is charging. I'll just let it sit there for a while and see if it brings the battery back. After it gets to about that voltage, I'll plug this back into that board, and then I'll plug in the micro USB cable and see if it actually charges the battery. So that was a bit odd. It's been sitting here for about 5 minutes or so, and it got up to close to 3.6. It was at 3.5 and some change, and then suddenly it just dropped back down to 3. And it's going back up again, so I don't know what the heck that was all about. Probably something to do with the protection circuitry here. Doesn't feel like it's very warm or anything. So yeah, not sure what that was all about. Let it sit for a while longer. Okay, it had like slow to a crawl. It was just sitting at 3.0 something for like the longest time. So I raised the current to 200 milliamps, and now it seems to be making some progress again, but it did slow down a bit. It's going. It's just kind of slow. All right, so I ended up raising the current to 300 milliamps, and now that the battery voltage has reached, or at the leads here has reached about 3.4 volts, I'm just going to disconnect it now, try to plug it into this board, and see if the battery charges. Actually, before I do that though, let's see what the actual battery voltage is at the battery terminals. And it's reading about 3.2, and it's slowly dropping. So I'll plug this in before it drops too much, because I don't know what the voltage at which it won't charge this anymore is going to be. All right, it turned on. There we go. I turned the circuit off. So let me get a... All right, here we go. Let's see if this works. All right, so the red LED there is on, indicating that it's charging. I'm just going to let that sit there and see if the battery completes a charge cycle. Okay, I let this thing sit overnight, and funny situation is that just as I was setting up to start recording again, this LED actually turned back on. It had turned off, meaning that it did complete its charging, but maybe the battery drained enough that it caused it to just come back on. Like, I seriously just sat down, I was about to hit record, and that LED turned right back on. So we can actually, we can check the voltage of the battery to see what it's reading. And put negative right here, positive right there. So it's reading about 4. Oh, it just turned off. So I'm guessing it just dropped enough to cause that LED to turn back on that it needed to charge again. So I don't know what the threshold is that's set on that chip, but it charged. It just seems like maybe the battery has a lot of like internal resistance or something, or this little board is causing it to drain a little too quickly. But now that it's charged, we can connect the LEDs, and it should work now. And there we are. They're all hooked up. Let's hit the button. Yeah, we see they come right on. Let's see if the colors are any better running on battery than running off of USB. So let's try with the white, because the white was pretty evident that it was. Yeah. So, and make sure that the brightness is all the way up. Yeah, there we go. So that definitely looks a lot wider than it did in the inside the case when it was running off USB. So I'm guessing maybe the charge controller they're trying to charge the battery was just pulling the current really low, and it just wasn't able to light up these LEDs to the colors that you could set. So let's try this pinkish looking one here, and yeah, that definitely looks pink now. Let's try the purple. It's like a lighter version of the pink. That's weird. Yeah, like the pink is more purplish than the purple. Let's see, dark blue. It's, I guess, more of like a purplish blue or like an indigo sort of color. But yeah, that definitely seems to more closely match what these buttons are supposed to be. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yellow looks actually more yellowish now. Light blue looks light blue. Yeah, and the white looks white. So that was looks like that was part of the issue right there. And just from running it for that little bit of time, battery voltage has already dropped to 4.05. Let's see what it does when it's on, how fast it's dropping there. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Actually, let's do white, because white uses all the LEDs at once. So, oh yeah, that's that's dropping quickly. This thing is not going to last very long. It's dropping like a like 1 millivolt per second. And that's what's inside one of these little infinity mirror box thingies. Not a whole lot, and it's really unfortunate that this battery kind of sucks, but that could definitely be easily upgraded, and it could probably even be made to be removable by maybe like cutting out the back of that section there where the battery normally sits, and then that way it can be like accessed from the back. Would probably have to make like some sort of a lid or a cover there to be able to put it back or secured in place. But I mean, that's if you really wanted to like get one of these things to like mess with. So yeah, there we go. That's about it. Hope it was at least kind of interesting, and thank you all for watching. I'll see you all around the bench.